Good, welcome.
Yes.
You too.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, no, my
Yes,
bad.
ma'am.
If you know her, you
I wasn't
are back.
looking
Good.
follow what they can.
Oh, they will.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Translated. Along the called. I like it. One call from. What can most of them were like 10 years. It was like over 70 elderly. Village in up here. Yeah. Coaching. London. London. Back before summer. I have here. Here's what it is.
That's right.
Yeah. It's okay. No, it's okay. I used to because but you far away from everywhere. Augusta, Savannah, from here, your representatives, their lake park belongs to us. Then when the east, the west is Thomas, far away from us. You need to be kind of close by. Volunteers like don't have fun. Don't have. I go next week. I'm going to something different. Guys would like to go with you guys. I already gave up this long time ago. Far away, you know,
That's right.
to do it. So it's okay. It'll be the cities were very kind of close to Savannah. Then I knew what I passed through, but I said, this is everything would be coordinated. Generals were meetings, everything you're running, right? 4 hours boring drive, the day before is like
Very boring.
killing. The policemen are checking one text thing and writing, you know, whatever. But it's the long
Gotta be here first.
Huh? I'm telling you, but I go during days, good healthy, after 8, traffic overpasses, grade of it's working very well. Far away. Being living in Singapore, being big people, now everything, we go back to us. I'm not making in one day. I go night before or I stay not crazy enough for events and then driving. Day I spend most former priest who was his original from here is ordained in 68, he's like 80. I have two now here but it's good, the rest is fine. So, it's a mix of people, Hispanics community, very huge. So the Lake Park is completely service, and mostly English, one is Spanish, huge one. You can see this is what's I attended before a meeting like this today. I will not stay long because I'm talking. So, and you passed it?
I do in a small city called
Oh, I know. Because the people are coming, number of they living there. They're calling like almost a week. Could you come bless the house military approaches? Could you come? So I know it's growing. Lots of new buildings.
Yeah, new buildings.
What is going? Are they talking about the new military will come?
Well, I believe they're getting aircraft.
Yeah.
Which is going to bring in a lot of people in more than our aircraft. And our projections.
This is what they are planning. Will be great. I'm just looking in. Running for 85 private schools for basic based on how many students because of tuition private pay, hoping that people will come and check. Don't close the school because then you are the bad guy who closed the school. Yeah, but 85 years I got when they were got these 8,000 days. Then you go. We keep it up. You know, for this big, for this, it should be only one. The complex is everything is kind of big part of that. So it's good, but just keep working. Wow, we okay the project now raise $4 million just to energy beautification. Other buildings. A lot. How big is it? Okay, sometimes that's always yeah. I keep open because I would be by myself. Came like all the Spanish. I will not. Keep open. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice talking to you. Yes, sir.
I'll now call to order the May 7th, 2026 meeting of Mayor and Council. I'd like to call on Father Adam Casella with St. John's Catholic Church to lead us in prayer. Please remain standing for the pledge.
Today, on this special day called the National Day of Prayer, and the theme of this day is Glorify God among the nations, seeking Him in all the generations. The National Day of Prayer commemorates two historical milestones: 250 years of prayer in America and 75 years of prayer for America. As we observe the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, alongside the 75th annual National Day of Prayer, we recognize this as a significant and sacred moment in our history. We believe God is stirring the hearts of believers across our nation. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders your people need. Help us see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us, and to treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. And finally, Father, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of the human person. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm going to open with a little bit of point of personal privilege. I'm going to introduce Shakira Parson. Please stand. She has been selected as our new Associate City Clerk. She survived a rigorous process. She has been a senior administrative support specialist in our utilities department for over 10 years. She has been very, very beyond competent, and now she's going to elevate to the third floor of City Hall and work with us. We very much look forward to working with her. Please again join me in welcoming Shakira Parson as our new Associate City Clerk. Congratulations. All right, next is awards and presentations. Consideration of the April 2026 Employee of the Month Award. If Sergeant Terrence Hines, his family, and Police Chief Leslie Manahan wouldn't join me at the front podium, please.
Good evening. Lieutenant Terry Hines has been with our department for 17 years. 12 of those he spent in the first time unit. The last 3 or 4, he was actually the sergeant of that unit. For our first time unit, that's the most demanding unit that we have in the police department. We work all violent crimes against people, range from over our professional standards unit. Now he reports to me. I think this is the person's crime unit, work that he did there. On top of that, Terry serves as one of our lead hostage negotiators, and that's something he does voluntarily. That's a secondary duty to what he normally does. And this year alone, he's already been involved in two amazing, very stressful negotiations that have turned out successfully. He definitely has a big gap, which has helped out. But in January, we had a gentleman who barricaded himself in an apartment in Sonata. He was wanted. He had a rifle and a couple of officers when they got there. That the only way he was coming out was in a shootout. We activated our crisis negotiation unit. Terry took over as the lead negotiator. Was FaceTiming the guy during the encounter. He would pick up a rifle. You could see him put it to his head. And this went on. Terry talked to him for 3 hours. 3 hours straight talking to him. He was finally able to calm him down to get him to come outside peacefully. He was taken into custody and there were 0 injuries. Then in March of this year, we had a situation on Park Avenue where a guy had called his girlfriend and told her that he was going to be killed. Officers go to the house. He stands at the door. He's got a knife to his throat and he refuses to come out. Again, our negotiators respond and Terry takes the lead. For 2 hours, he talks to this gentleman. He's able to calm him down. He's able to get him to come out and get the help that he needed. Again, no injuries and very successful in coming out. Terry's the person who gives to the community 24/7. He takes a lot of time away from his family, which it puts a burden on relationships. Tammy is very strong. He stands in there with him. She's very supportive. But he gives to his community no matter what. He takes time. He gives the effort. And his compassion and his caring for people is why he's not only an asset to our department, he's an asset to the city of Valdosta. And I'm proud and honored to recognize him as a city councilman.
Terry, first of all, this beautiful certificate to display either at home or at work. Work is better, right? Check. Appreciation from the city of Valdosta and the city council as well. And then your name will be on that plaque behind you and display for everybody to see at City Hall as well. Congratulations and thank you for your service to the city. Normally we pose for pictures at this point, but we took care of that because we got a lengthy agenda. We're going to start with our public hearing items. We'll begin with 3A, consideration of an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for a freestanding warehouse building in a highway commercial zoning district, requested by Hedgecock Investments. Matt Martin, our planning director, will present. Matt, how are you doing?
Doing fine, Mayor. Thank you very much. As you said, this is a conditional use permit request for property in the highway commercial zoning district. The proposed use is a freestanding warehouse in that zoning. Try this button. There we go. You may have to do this the old-fashioned way, Teresa. In your packet are a series of maps and other information about the property. First one is the zoning map. You see it's highway commercial, all in and around the subject property. The next map is the character area, which is community activity center, also throughout the area. This is in the southern part of what we call the Bemis Road corridor, is actually between Bemis Road and North Ashley Street, just above the Castle Park area of the city. Next picture is the aerial image. That is from 2007. Moving on to the photographs of properties nearby. This is at 421 Coward Avenue, which is an L-shaped road that links into, I've forgotten the name of the street. There we go. Subject property is the wooded area tract. This is the property just to the south, which is a professional office. Directly to the east is a part of the applicant's other property that has outdoor storage, portable buildings for sale. As you look northward up Coward Avenue, you see the Pruitt Health Nursing Home. And then around the corner westward, you have the nursing home viewed in, and then some of the applicant's property directly across the street. And then lastly, professional office buildings that are directly west of the subject property. Also in your packet is a survey and site plan of the property. This is where they're proposing a rectangular shaped metal building, brand new to the site, a few parking spaces in the southeastern corner. This is closer to their business, which is at 2122 Bemis Road, about a block and a half away, and as well as some landscaping that's being proposed. Also in your packet are some elevation drawings of the building itself, a fairly simple design, metal frame building with wood siding, a couple windows, and then a roll-up door closer to the street, and then also a 3D rendering of the building, which gives a better view of what it actually looks like. I have a mixture of old and new technologies here. The Planning Commission reviewed this conditional use request at their public hearing on April 27th. They found the request consistent with the comprehensive plan, consistent with the conditional use review criteria, and they are recommending approval to you subject to 9 conditions. And those are there in your packet, but I will go ahead and read them into the record. First one, conditional use approval shall be granted for a singular storage building only, not to exceed 4,400 square feet of gross floor area. This building shall only be used for accessory storage associated with the commercial business located at 2122 Bemis Road, which is currently Powerhouse Outdoor Equipment. Number 2, there shall be no outdoor storage of any vehicles, equipment, or materials whatsoever at any time. Number 3, there shall be no signage on the property other than one or more small incidental signs on the building as approved by the zoning administrator. Number 4, hours of operation for all loading, unloading, and other business activity on the site shall be limited to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday only. Loading and unloading activities shall occur only within the subject property without any usage of Coward Avenue or access through adjacent properties. Number 5, a minimum 6-foot solid opaque fence shall be installed along or within 10 feet of the entire western property line. The site shall retain a minimum 10-foot landscape street yard along the north property line, which is along Coward Avenue, as well as a minimum 10-foot buffer yard along the western property line. These landscaped areas shall retain the existing natural undisturbed vegetation. Number 6, all exterior building walls shall consist of concrete batten siding. All street-facing facades shall include one or more architectural accents, such as a window or faux window, or other design trim or element to interrupt the large blank wall appearance. Number 7, the approved landscape plan shall include foundation landscaping in the form of decorative shrubs and ground cover as approved by the city arborist along the eastern, which is the front building facade, to soften the visual impact of the building. Number 8, any exterior lighting shall be directed downward and away from adjacent properties. And then lastly, number 9, conditional use approval shall expire 2 years from the date of approval if no building permit for the proposed building has been used or has been issued by that date. The applicant is here. You may recall from the work session, there was a packet of some correspondence in opposition. Some of that was included in your packet, but you received more at your work session. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Council, any questions for Matt? Any additional questions over Tuesday? Okay. Matt, thank you. Again, this is a public hearing item. We're going to offer both sides 15 minutes in total, both in favor and in opposition. With that being said, is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request tonight? Please state your name and address.
My name is Bill Kent with Innovate Engineering, 2214 North Patterson Street. We're the project engineers. We developed the concept plan. Really here just to answer any questions you may have about access or the development itself.
Council? We do not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request?
My name is David Frazier, 2122 Bemis Road. I'm currently employed by Powerhouse Outdoor Equipment and work on the property on a daily basis and with the equipment. As stated in the packet and as Mr. Matt said, the primary use of this warehouse will just be for storage of equipment. Most of our equipment that we keep on stock or on site is in crates. It's unsightly, and the crates are by no means weatherproof, so being able to get these machines out of the weather is a huge deal for us to make sure we can keep our machines in good shape. And make sure that they're not damaged by the weather or anything like that. We also fully recognize that the crated units are unsightly when they're out in the weather where everybody can see. We get to stare at them all day, every day. So this would be a great opportunity for us to be able to get those out of sight where we can make our own property look better, keep them out of the weather, and just be able to keep those machines in good shape. I'm also here to answer any questions that you may have.
Council, any questions for David?
So you're saying that all the crates and stuff that's over on Bemis Road now, you're saying every bit of that is to go into this warehouse?
As much as we can fit, yes, sir.
Or is it additional stock?
So we don't really have additional stock. We just have a large inventory, a large surplus of different models and different brands. And our goal is just to be able to put all of that that's not on our showroom floor inside and detailed up, be able to put in this warehouse where it's out of the weather.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Council, any other questions? David, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Again, is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request?
James Carter, 602 Ledgedale Circle. The neighborhood that is right across from Powerhouse Outdoors is developing more towards Bemis Road as well also, and I would certainly encourage cleaning, up that visual aspect of Powerhouse, and then also the crates as mentioned by those personnel there as well. So I would say an encouragement of this as the house at 602 Ledgedale Circle, looking out the window there from the where we do dishes, you can actually see Powerhouse and the buildings and all those crates from that aspect of it as well. So I would be encouraging this. Thank you.
James Carter.
James Carter, 602 Ledgedale Circle.
Is there anybody else that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, we'll close out that. 15 minutes offered to opposition. Anybody that would like to come forward and speak in opposition to this request? Please come forward.
Anybody has any problem seeing this, I can certainly turn it away. Good afternoon. I'm Bill Broadfoot. I represent Broadfoot Commercial. As we all know, SGMC, Pruitt Health, and the medical providers and ancillary medical providers support the city of Valdosta in numerous vital ways, and their land uses are the most, among the most important land uses in Valdosta. As Mr. Martin said, all of Coward Avenue is zoned CH. Coward Avenue is here on the visual. Starts here inside the hospital's property. inside SGMC's property. And then from there, it goes east until eventually it curves around and goes in towards Bemis Road. But it's zone CH, so while CH can potentially, as you know, again, potentially allow a variety of uses, certain uses must have approval of the city council under the process of conditional use review. And the proposed metal warehouse would sit at the highest elevation on Coward Avenue, top of it. The only thing that would be higher would be the nursing home behind that, which is Holly Hill and Crestwood. Next to that, it's a professional plaza, and then there's another, and I'm gonna go through this in more detail in just a moment. But the applicant's proposed use of an industrial warehouse would expand industrial use into an interior corridor that is neither compatible nor harmonious with industrial use. Hedgecock Investments owns both Powerhouse Equipment and Powerhouse Outdoor Structures. They're on 3 pieces of property. They're on Bemis Road. The store is down here at the very bottom almost, but then these two, and these are the two where they have various implements outside and on Bemis Road. But in this instance, these pieces of property are when you put the 3 on Bemis Road, they are 9 times the size of this 0.4 acre tract, 9 times Bemis Road. And so there's no barrier at all based on the zoning on Bemis Road of building a warehouse on this property on Bemis Road. There's no need for any kind of application whatsoever. They can just do it. Howard Avenue begins, as I said, with South Georgia Medical Center and extends eastward. And as you proceed east, everything except for an attractive professional plaza, which is right next door to the subject property, and which I might add is owned by an orthopedic surgeon. Everything's medical. Everything's medical or ancillary medical. Now, when I say that, there are some pieces of property that are vacant, but the intended use or the actual use is medical or ancillary medical or professional. Either the actual use, as we sit here today, or the intended use. At the northeast corner of Coward Avenue and Ashley Street, is South Georgia Medical Center. And they have their wound care and hyperbaric treatment center. This is imaging. This is more South Georgia Medical Center, as we well know, goes for quite a ways. Woodrow Wilson, across the street is Chancey Drugs. Okay? And as you proceed eastward, this is an internist and a nephrologist, Dr. Chang. These are our 3 pieces of property. Crawford Commercial, these 3 right here, my hand is. These are across from the proposed site. Then you have Pruitt, and the 3 nursing homes in Pruitt are Heritage House here, and Holly Hill and Crestwood, and Pruitt owns another tract on Coward Avenue, which is a hospice facility. So this extends eastward, and then at the top is Crestwood and Holly Hill. And then you have the parcel of the applicant right here. And then next door this is owned by a company called David Southern, orthopedic surgeon, another Pruitt, and a urogynecologist, Dr. Williams, is right here. Dr. Williams is a urogynecologist. Every single parcel on Coward Avenue is opposed to this use. So what I mean by that, everybody knows how to go to the tax assessor's site. And if you punch in Coward Avenue, it will populate with 9 different parcels. The letters that were in your packet represent every single parcel on Coward Avenue, every one of them, except for the applicant. That includes Chai Ole, I believe, which is Dr. Chang, Davis Southern, which I already mentioned, and the gynecologist, urogynecologist, Dr. Williams. Our property's vacant, but we've always intended it for medical, always. We just finished demolishing 3 houses here behind Pruitt on Ashley Street. We're excited about the potential here in Valdosta. We're excited about expansion of South Georgia Medical Center. We're excited about everything that's going on with the college and the Arts Center. These developments are good for this area. And so basically, pretty much everything is ancillary. There's a treatment center here, dental office, which is my brother's dental office. It used to be my father's dental office. The north of Coward Avenue, to the north is University Drive, Pendleton Place. That corridor has Ridgewood Apartments, which were built by my father in 1979. And that corridor is completely medical or ancillary medical too. And again, when I say that, I either mean an in current use or intended developmental use. Granted, some of it is not, some of it's vacant, like the three tracts that I just mentioned are parcels. So that intention goes all the way back to my father's purchase of the Medical Arts Center at 305 University Drive in 1975. Subsequently purchased 404 Pendleton Place, which is this piece of property right here. These are where the apartments are. This is where my brother is a dentist, right here. Anyway, my dad was here. He practiced law for 40 years. He died just about exactly 10 years ago, and it was this month. He was president of the Georgia Dental Association, president of the State Board of Dentistry. South Georgia Medical Center had an affiliated uninsured patient care facility on Woodrow Wilson that was named after him. As recommended by the planning director and staff, the city council should deny this request because the proposed site is neither heavy commercial nor borderline industrial in nature. These are ancillary medical uses or intention of the same. The proposed use is not consistent with the comprehensive plan and not consistent with certain of the conditional use review criteria. Additionally, there is an issue with whether the applicant has demonstrated the ability to maintain its existing commercial properties in an aesthetic or compliant manner. Freestanding under the conditional use criteria, a freestanding warehouse is classified as an industrial use in the use table, and it's considered one of the more intensive uses that's ever allowable in CH zoning. This is why the conditional use permit is required, so that each proposal can be reviewed case by case. In this instance, the proposed use is not compatible with the land uses on the adjacent properties and would devalue those properties. And that's the gist of all of this. It would devalue our property, and as well the people that also, you have all the letters in opposition. It's not compatible. There are also potential problems with the volume of traffic and the character of the area that would be created by this warehouse, which we submit is unsightly. The
proposed use will adversely affect adjoining properties by reason of the manner of the use, and in that this is medical, ancillary medical, and professional use. So, and then as far as the comprehensive plan goes, you know, there's a focal point for several neighborhoods to have a concentration of activities such as general retail, service commercial, office professional, higher density housing, and appropriate public and open spaces. And this is the sort of area that we have at issue in this matter. So we did submit the letters of everybody on Coward Avenue, also from a treatment center that's on our property on Pendleton Place, corner of Pendleton Place, University Drive, 2301, Folsom. And in addition, I can tell you that there are a couple of other people that I have spoken with that for friendship reasons and whatever, didn't want to sign anything, and they are opposed to it, and I'll just leave it at that, okay? But we've been pretty persistent in trying to, you know, get as much support in opposition to the permit.
And Bill, there's 1 minute left in the 15 minutes.
Any questions from any of you all?
Council, any questions? I think it was pretty well detailed, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
The- Yeah, I got 1 minute left if there's anybody else that wants to speak in opposition to this request. If you think you can do it in a 60-second format, please come forward. All right, seeing none, we'll close that portion out. Council, I'm going to turn it over to you for action, but I believe Councilman Harden has a question for one of the prior.
For Matt, for staff.
Matt Martin.
Matt, so with the that's adjacent to the property, they already have their motorsports.
Not immediately adjacent, it's about a
Okay.
block away. If we can go back to one of the maps. Teresa, about the zoning map. All right, so you see the subject property outlined. If you were to come southward, you intersect Janet Street, and then to the east, where Janet intersects Bemis, the applicant owns property on both sides of that intersection. Powerhouse Outdoor Business is to the south of that intersection, where you see the other CH label.
Okay.
And that's the business that's affiliated with this warehouse that they're wanting to use. So it's about a block and a half, block away. If this were part of the property, it is to be an expansion to the commercial use.
What can they currently do on that property? Can they put those crates on that property? Can they
No,
use
the
that?
outdoor storage by itself is not allowed in commercial zoning. That's an industrial use, in fact, a heavy industrial use. CH zoning, however, is very useful. It allows the full range of commercial and office-type uses, including the offices that are nearby, restaurants, shoe stores, taverns, all of that is allowed in CH zoning. It's a wide variety. Warehousing as its own primary use is what I call the top of the food chain of CH. It's allowed only with a conditional use approval, so we get to review them case by case. Not all CH areas are the same. Not all buildings are the same. Theirs is not really large, not a 100,000 square foot distribution center kind of place. But this is also not your typical CH kind of neighborhood. This is on an interior street, not fronting a major street. So there's a lot of different things going on here, and all of that is outlined there in your packet. But yes, this is not immediately adjacent to the applicant's business for this. An ancillary business is across the street. That's where the portable buildings and some other outdoor storage is located.
Okay. Thank you.
Matt, thank you.
In fact,
Council, any other questions? Any for Matt? All right, it's yours for action.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we table this hearing for some further discussion to bring it up to a vote at our next council meeting on the 21st.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands. All in opposition, same, oh, nope, it came up. Motion carries. Council, thank you. Now move on to item 3B, consideration of an ordinance to grant planned development approval for a mixed-use child daycare and school facility in an office professional and single-family residential zoning district. Matt Martin again to
Yes, sir.
present.
Thank you. Mayor, this is an amendment to an existing plan development request that was last amended 3 years ago, back in 2023. This is for property located on North Barack Obama Boulevard. It is split zoned, R6 and OP. We notice the Little Angels Daycare Center. It is a full commercial daycare, plus a school facility in the rear yard. You may remember that plan development request 3 years ago, where the gist of it was to blend the zonings together with a variety of the uses that were allowed in either OP or R6 zoning. It was approved based on a master plan with 7 conditions of approval. The applicant's request is to amend one of those conditions, that being condition number 1, which is outlined on the cover page of your packet. And they want to remove the phrase that says "in the name of the applicant only." The applicant's desire is to sell the business and the property together into another entity, and that other entity would not be able to get a license for the facility since it would not be in their name. So the request is to take that out, leave other conditions the same. What staff and planning commission are recommending is that change, plus a few housekeeping changes within that. So in your packet is the original land use certificate from 3 years ago, which lists all 7 conditions. We're proposing to eliminate, I think, condition number 2 of the old list, which was the requirement to combine all properties together. That's already been done, so that does not need to carry forward into the new request. And so the rest of the conditions are there in the recommendation, which there are 6 of them now instead of 7. And so Planning Commission is recommending approval after finding at their April 27th public hearing that the new amended plan development is consistent with the comprehensive plan, consistent with the plan development review criteria, which are there in your packet, and recommending approval by unanimous vote. Glad to answer any questions on this one.
Council, any further questions on this item? Okay, Matt, thank you. Again, this is a public hearing item. Having said that, is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Each side will have 15 minutes.
Jonathan Irvin, 512 Barack Obama. Basically, gotta have an exit strategy, so that's my exit strategy. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Council, any questions? None? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request?
Good evening, Council. Justin Purvis. I represent Irving Investments and Little Angels Daycare. I just want to point out that although the PD is changing, the one condition's being changed, the property is going to sell to another daycare center. So it's not like the purpose of the property will be changed. The purpose of the property will stay the same. This has to be changed. This small condition has to be amended so that this daycare center can buy it and continue to operate that business so that they're not in violation of any ordinance that the city of Valdosta has. That's the only reason for this request. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions if you need it.
Council.
I don't have it's not a basic question, but will we keep name remain the same on the daycare?
My understanding is the name will remain the same, but, or at least for the foreseeable future.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, Council? Justin, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, is there anybody else who would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak in opposition to this request? Again, seeing none, Council, it's yours for action.
Mayor,
I would move to make a motion that we approve the recommendations with the amendments and the removals and the 6 conditions. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Applicant, good luck. We'll now move on to 3C. Consideration of an ordinance to rezone 6.25 acres from residential agricultural to residential professional as requested by Integrity Development Partners. Matt Martin again to explain.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. This item and the next agenda item are tied together. This is a rezoning and annexation pair of cases for the same subject property. As you know, when we have an annexation request, we vote on the rezoning aspect of it first and then the annexation. But for expediency's sake, we present it as one. We usually hold one public hearing, but when it comes time to make motion and vote, we need that to be done separately, with the rezoning going first. So this is property on the north end of the existing city limits, immediately north of the Georgia Military College. On this map in your packet, you see the gray shaded area is unincorporated Lowndes County. The white area is not shaded, is the existing city limits. And you can see how this is contiguous to the Valdosta city limits on the south side. The zoning pattern of the area is zoned RA in Lowndes County, as is dominant and through much of this semi-rural area that stands for rural agricultural. And then to the south, you see commercial zoning CC, which is for Georgia Military College, and then RP for the elementary school to the southeast. The requested rezoning is to RP, which is consistent with the RP to the southeast, and also consistent with the non-commercial nature of this segment of North 4th Street Extension. The next map is the character area. This is Community Activity Center in this area that is between Bemis Road and North Forest. And then the next one is the aerial map. It shows it as a wooded tract. I don't think it's ever been developed, but you see very prominently the military college to the south, the Porch Community Church that's immediately to the north, and the elementary school is in the bottom right-hand corner. Looking at the imagery around, this is looking northward up the street toward the church, and then swinging around to the east side of the road, there's a rural home site. And then looking southward down North Forest, you see the elementary school on down to the left. And then I think the next one is a little closer view. And then Kingdom Hall is straight across the street off to the east. In your packet also is a site plan that is conceptual, as well as the boundary survey. The site plan is for their proposed development, which is a 72-unit multifamily apartment complex, tax credit housing. This is the same developer that has built the Freedom, or the Harvest Station apartments down on Griffin Avenue, as well as other developments in the community. The architecture of this, which is also in your packet, is another version of what they have built recently in Tifton. The applicant's representatives are here to explain the details of this, but it is an annexation to bring zoning about 6.25 acres from RA in the county to RP in the city. Pursuant to state law, we have noticed the county with the proposed annexation. They have not raised any objections to the annexation request, so we are eligible to proceed in taking action. Glad to answer any questions you might have on these two cases.
Council, any questions for Matt? Matt, well done. Again, this is a public hearing item. This time, both sides will have 15 minutes for a response. Is there anybody at this time willing to come forward and speak in favor of this request?
Good evening. I'm Steve Brooks. I work with IDP Properties. Been with IDP since the company was founded in 2011. Based here in Valdosta, just a block or so over here on Patterson Street. We've developed several communities here in Valdosta, multifamily. Freedom Heights out on Bemis Road, the Ashbury on the old China Garden site. We renovated the Ashley House apartments right around the corner from here. Built Harvest Station down on Griffin Street and currently have the Harvest Station Phase 2 under construction down there. This is another community plan very similar to those. This will be a family property, 72 units. The property you're seeing right now, the picture you're seeing is actually a 56-unit community we built in Tifton about 4 years ago. We would like to just replicate that architecture here in Valdosta. We haven't used it here. The architects will be Studio 8 here out of Valdosta. We're using local contractors. So like to just ask for your blessing in getting this annexed and letting us just continue on with what we like to do, and we think we do a good job at it. So I'd be glad to answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Council, any questions for Steve? None.
Thank you. Thank you all for your service.
Is there anybody else that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, equal time for anybody in opposition to this request. Again, seeing none, council, item C is yours for action.
Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve the request as presented.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Before you also is item D, consideration of ordinance to annex 6.25 acres into the city of Valdosta.
Mayor, I'd like to make another motion to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. With that, the city of Valdosta just grew by 6.25 acres. Council, thank you very much. We'll move on to item 4, ordinances and resolutions without objection from Ms. Cody. Item A, consideration of a resolution of support for the Forest Ridge Apartments projects from our council. Al Crace, our interim city manager, will present.
Mayor and council, this is IDP's proposed resolution of support that's necessary to go to the Department of Community Affairs in support of the tax credit project, and they have a long record here, but this is asking you all for approval of a resolution of support, and I think they've thoroughly discussed the details. Any questions?
Council, any questions for Al? None? Items before you.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. IDP, thank you. Now move on to item B, 4B, consideration of a request from the Valdosta Lowndes County Airport Authority to approve a resolution authorizing acceptance of a grant from the Georgia Department of Transportation. Colonel Tim Hood, our executive director at the Valdosta Regional Airport, will tell us about the free money.
Right, council. So this is a grant looking for approval. GDOT has $1.2 million towards this, and it will be going to electrical improvements on one of our main runways, 1836, and then it will also be going to runway safety area improvements on the one on the corresponding runway, and then also on 1836. So 1.2 million coming from GDOT, and the airport authority will be up to 400,000. This won't require any City of Valdosta funds. We're just looking for approval of the grant.
Any questions for Mr. Hood? None? Colonel, thank you. Council, yours for action.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Colonel, thank you. Now move on to item 5A, consideration of bids for the Scott Park Improvement Project. Ben O'Dowd, our city engineer, will present. You have a packet in front of you as well that he just set down.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I have distributed to each of you a packet which includes a summary of the bid opening from this afternoon. Additionally, it also has the bid tabulation form and Charlie's very thorough unit cost bid tabulation spreadsheet so that you can see how all of the different bidders kind of stack up. We had 4 bids that were received this afternoon, and for clarity and for the public record, I would like to read this next portion just so everybody's got all the information.
Thank you.
4 bids were received this afternoon. The bid opening results and engineering bid tabulation are attached. The low responsive bid was submitted by Artesian Contracting Company Incorporated in the amount of $456,319.16. This total amount includes the base bid as well as the alternative bid item for existing court resurfacing. The city is acquiring playground equipment and installation through a cooperative procurement process from VLPRA's preferred vendor, which is Game Time. Game Time's competitive quote under that cooperative procurement master agreement is $432,616.33. The total low bid plus the quote equals $888,935.49. Given that total grant funding available is $1,152,000, staff recommends award of the low bid and the competitive quote amounts to Artesian Contracting Company and to Game Time respectively, with combined 29.53% contingency for unknown field conditions. The intent of this oddball contingency amount is to simply bring the total requested value for utilization of funds up to the approved grant amount, which is 1.152.
Makes sense.
And staff's recommendation is to approve the low bid quote plus contingency for $652,000 to Artesian Contracting Company, as well as the competitive quote contingency for $500,000 to Game Time, with a total approved amount of $1.152 million. Any questions for us?
Council? Questions?
Yes.
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Dooley?
I still have some questions. First of all, the way this bidding went was a little new to me. What I understand when you said about Game Time, that is the one that the Parks and Recs use, right?
Yes, that's their preferred vendor for all of their playground equipment that the VLPRA installs.
Because it's my understanding, there was with Parks and Recs, they had a different responsibility for what they handle with the park versus what the city handled. Because we had talked to them about the bathrooms out there, and I don't see anything here talking about doing an upgrade in the bathrooms area.
Correct. So this is the bidded scope just for the constrained project description for ARPA. So there was an ARPA grant application that was submitted, and to my knowledge, bathroom upgrades or improvements were not included as part of that ARPA grant application, which makes sense because the bathrooms at the time were fully functional. They had not yet been damaged by vandalism. And so the bid that I've presented to you is just the ARPA grant fund scope.
So, okay, but it's ARPA, but it's for the construction and building up that park area, right? And you're saying that the bathroom parts are not part of it?
Correct, yes, ma'am. It was a very specific grant application. There was a very specific scope. There was the inclusion of the outdoor, the obstacle course equipment, the accessible playground equipment, court resurfacing, as well as the combination basketball and pickleball court facilities. That was what was applied for as part of the grant. And so we commissioned plans to deliver that grant scope. And what I've presented before you tonight is simply the competitive bids for the general contractor delivery portion of that project.
Well, Mike, okay. Also with the basketball courts, when was the last time they did some resurfacing on those and upgraded the playground equipment?
About 5 years ago.
Was it
Yeah,
that
I
long?
believe the court resurfacing that was last done was done about 5 years ago. It was about the
21.
same time, I believe, that the old tennis courts were demolished.
Because when all that was redone, Chief Manahan, am I correct on this? Didn't we have a cookout about 5 years ago at Scotts Park, and that's when they had the revealing of the new basketball courts and the track system and? Yeah, it was about 5 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, so that's when the bathrooms were upgraded and all that stuff was happening.
Correct.
Yeah.
They upgraded the bathrooms at that time.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
And then
Miss
shortly
Cody-
there,
Miss Cody was there with him.
I believe shortly thereafter, and I'm just going off of memory, but I believe shortly thereafter was when the bathroom facilities were, I believe, firebombed as an act of vandalism. And
Yeah, that was. That was actually 3 years ago.
And I'm unsure if that damage has been repaired. I would assume that would be the
VLPRA.
authority's responsibility to repair that damage.
And should be something we follow up on as well.
Yeah, but that, again, just to be clear, the bathroom renovations or repairs to the bathroom facilities is not included in the bid
In this,
scope that I
right.
presented before you tonight.
And I have another question about that, because we were talking, I don't know, I just, like I understand there's gonna be a tennis court. Now, we got pickleball. I did talk to people in that area, not many of them even know about pickleball. Have anybody talked about that? Did that come up, Councilman Cody, about?
Everybody was excited about it.
They
when
were?
We got the pickleball at Mackey.
Right.
And we spoke then that we was gonna bring it at Scott Park. And everybody was very happy concerning it.
And so they want to get rid of the tennis courts?
Yes, because I wanna play pickleball at Scott Park.
Well, the
You
tennis-
play pickleball, you do?
tennis
You go over there
courts-
and
I think the tennis courts,
They were demolished.
got messed up,
Yeah.
and therefore they have to either redo the tennis courts in the sense of like literally redo it from ground up, or bring in what most of the members wanted, and that is, or citizens wanted, and that was pickleball and more basketball courts. So where the tennis courts used to be at, you got the 3 new basketball courts.
That's where the combination court area is gonna be. I believe there's either 1 or 2 additional basketball courts, and then I believe 3 pickleball courts, kinda like a
Yeah,
combination court
there's
area.
3 basketball there now. Where the tennis courts used to be, is that where the?
That's where the combination
That's
court
where
is
the
going.
combination of the pickle and basketball is gonna be added. So eventually
Yes, sir.
they'll have
I believe either 4 or
6
5 basketball courts
6
total,
basketball courts and
and
1
then
pickle.
3 pickleball courts
Okay,
as well.
cool.
And that's great, because I was wondering if they have any, 'cause we need places for our kids to go or people to go. And I was just wondering, trying to see about getting any groups or teams to go out there and play. And they do go out there and play now?
It'll be a way of a good avenue to bring our people up to date concerning the pickleball, because pickleball is growing nationally, and our kids on the south side would really enjoy, and they can do it with their parents. And then you could get a league, south side Scott Park pickleball could play Mackey pickleball, because if, the courts at Mackey is always filled.
Right.
And if you bring it on the south side, it's gonna be a great avenue for our children to have something to do during the summer. And they even teach classes of the pickleball. They got instructors that will come over there and teach you how to play pickleball. Not free, but very inexpensive.
What wonderful. I was just looking at that because a lot of them kind of get pickleball and tennis mixed up. Even though I've looked at it and seen the difference, but I've looked at that.
You and I gonna go out there and play.
No, ma'am. One other question I want to ask you about.
Okay?
You got the demolition. When you say y'all gonna be demolishing something, you're talking about the concrete? What you gonna demolish?
Specifically what the demolition scope is?
What is that? It says it's gonna be including clearing, grubbing, demolishing, and off-site disposal of debris. I'm just wondering, what is it you're gonna demolish?
There's some existing, I believe, fencing out there. Again, I apologize, I'm not exactly aware of the complete demolition scope. I'd be happy to provide you with the construction
Okay,
documents.
we'll get to that later then, another time. Okay, I just was wondering because I'm like, where the trees or where the what you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, generally, so that grading complete item, we include demolition in there for incidental demolition for existing improvements that are encountered during construction that have to be removed in order to facilitate complete construction of the new courts.
Most everything's been cleared out there.
Yes, yeah, I believe the existing tennis courts were demolished several years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Ben? Looks like. No? Ben, thank you. Council, this is a fun one. It's yours for action.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve this request as presented by Ben.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Ben? Thank you. Move on to item 5B, consideration of a request to approve a license encroachment agreement between the City of Valdosta and the Georgia Southern and Florida Railway Company for relocation of a water line of its water. It's Jason Barnes, our Utilities Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is a request to approve a license encroachment agreement between the City of Valdosta and the Georgia Southern and Florida Railway Company for relocation of the water line for the new water treatment plant number 2. After we approved the site to where the new water treatment plant is going to be, we did a hydraulic modeling was conducted, and it was determined that connecting to the nearest pipeline would cause excessive pressures. So therefore, at that time, the city chose to extend the line to connect with the largest lines in the system. The final engineering design requires replacement of the proposed installation and construction of an underground traverse 20-inch ductile iron pipe water line and a 28-inch steel casing located in, over, or under the cross the right-of-way of the property and any tracks of railway at or near the following. And as Tuesday night, I gave you some maps showing where that is. So this license encroachment agreement pertains only to the utility installation across the railroad right-of-way. Georgia Southern and Florida Railway Company will require a permit fee of $25,161.14 for the encroachment and utility installation. I will tell you this is because of a jack and bore under railroad on inner perimeter. That's mainly what it's gonna be. There could be some open cut, but that will be on a case-by-case basis. That will be determined by the railroad superintendent that will be on site of the time of the installation. So staff recommends to approve the license encroachment agreement from Georgia Southern and Florida Railway Company in the amount of $25,161.14. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Nope. Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, yours for action.
Mayor, I make a motion that we accept this request as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Council, thank you. Jason, thank you. Move on to item C. Consideration of an appointment of a new city manager for the city of Valdosta pursuant to the terms of an employment agreement. We have waited the 2 weeks. We will now ask Tim Tanner to present those conditions.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the contract before you. We discussed it on Tuesday night. There has been some interim discussion about changes to Section 204 in recognition of the fact that Ms. Wheeler is coming here very quickly. I think the start date is June 22nd. And in consideration of the fact that she has declined any relocation expenses, I think there's been mutual agreement that we'll offer her on her first day of employment, 24 days credited annual sick leave, and then 36 days annual leave on her first day of employment. So we will be making, pursuant to your vote, amendments to Section 204A and B and Section 303, which is essentially the same change that reflects our decision not to pay relocation expenses in consideration of giving her those 36 days on her first date of employment. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
But will we get a copy of that improvement?
Yes,
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
once we make these changes and it's executed, we'll provide everybody a copy.
Thank you, sir.
Council, any additional questions? All right. Council, it's yours for action.
Mayor, I would proudly like to make a motion to accept Jennifer Wheeler as our new city manager.
Make a second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Ms. Wheeler, please stand up. Should have told everybody else to stay seated. Council, thank you very much. We'll now move on to item 6. This is the citizens to be heard portion of the evening. We ask you to come forward and state your name and address so we can have it for the record. Our policy requires you to stay under 3 minutes so that others have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It's our policy to follow through with you on your concern. Additionally, we ask that any groups that want to address the council designate one spokesperson to represent the group and their comments. Again, with that, all will have time to be heard. Having said that, are there any citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Please identify yourself.
Mayor and council, my name is Anna Davis, and this is Jackie Barron, and we live in the 500, 600 block of Florida. And we are coming on behalf of our section of the street because it floods, no matter how much water falls, just a little bit or a whole lot. And we have 3 things right in front of the house, but the water, they're not strong enough to, for the water to go down, so that means it floods in our area very badly. I have talked to several people in the city about it, and they do come out and look at it, but I just wanna know now, what, going forward from here, what would they be doing to help us in this area about seeing that, that someone come out, actually see what can be done about the situation, where we are going on.
If you'll wait to the end of the meeting, I'll have 2 people approach you after this meeting. All right? Well,
We certainly would appreciate it.
thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Bobby McKenzie, 2947 Finley Chase Drive. Glad that you guys came up here and spoke up about flooding in your areas and flooding in your homes. A couple weeks ago on Facebook, a resident had posted, "Hey, somebody please guide me in the right direction. My house is always flooding." I contacted the city a few months ago and crickets, nothing. And they went to Facebook to resort to get their problem resolved. I encourage them to use C-Click-Fix, which is what the city council always encourages. But here's where we're missing out, and it's related to the couple that just sat down. If you connect the dots on this, it's over on Gorto Road, and if you look back on the history of C-Click-Fix, there's between 2016 and 2026, that's 10 years, there's over 24 reports of the same flooding at the exact same location, and multiple people have gone out there and wrote it off. Angela Bray, the stormwater manager, responded after criticism on that Facebook post to call. She's like, "Call me, here's my number," on the Facebook post, not on the C-Click-Fix or anything else. "Hey, this is the first time I've heard of this." Okay, if we look at some of these C-Click-Fixes, in 2019, it was ditches not draining on the road because it's been standing for 2 weeks, creating habitat for mosquitoes, July 2019. Angela Bray responded August 2019, problem fixed. Okay, if you look at Google Street Views and you go through there, you can see it goes back, it gives historicals. It's open records, it's not official, but it's Google. You can see that ditch has been full, plumb flush with dirt for at least 10 years. And if you go even further, in 2024, June 2024, that same resident reached out to the news agency, and she filmed like a river. Most of you guys, you've probably seen that video where that river was just gushing out on Gorntail Road across the railroad tracks. It looked like a river. I got the video if you want to see it. It looked like a river. It went on the news in 2024, June 2024, well before you could use the excuse of a hurricane. And then if you fast forward it, you got another report. I mean, it's multiple reports. Here's one in 2025 from the engineering department. The engineering department writes on C-Click-Fix, it says, "To all, multiple requests have been opened for this location. We are working towards a solution. Thanks for your patience." In 2026 again, they finally went out there, and whatever happened, they finally dug the ditch after 10 years. And it was 200 feet, at least, of ditch that's been buried for 3 years. The point I'm getting at here is, it's across the board, time and time again, especially with the engineering and stormwater division, and even in the code enforcement, you're not doing your jobs. You're not listening to your residents. You're not helping people out. And it's the same crowd. We're referencing 2010 Stormwater Master Plan. 16 years, we have not done nothing. You have not done nothing. Thank you.
Bobby, thank you. Bobby McKenzie. Is there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Hall Phillips, 2102 North Sherwood Drive. I'm here to talk about 2 things. Number 1, trampolines. I've seen a lot of trampolines in front yards, side yards, that I feel are just a danger to unsupervised children. You know, we have ordinances around swimming pools that keep children safe, and I feel like there's something that we should do to require them to be set back at least so many feet from the road to prevent children from being tempted to get on them and harm themselves. I know other communities have ordinances that require them to either be in the backyard or a side yard or at least so many feet from the road. So I'd really appreciate y'all to consider that. And the other issue is chronic 24-hour tethering of dogs. I'm a veterinarian and I specialize in behavior medicine, and I can tell you the fastest way to create an aggressive dog is to tether it and starve it of human attention. And when a child wanders into that space, maybe it's a mama dog with some puppies and they're really curious, that's a tremendous bite risk, and it's completely preventable. Many counties surrounding us, specifically Brooks County and Tift County, have passed ordinances that they don't ban tethering, but only allow supervised tethering. A person has to be present to make sure their dog is safe. The other side of that is the dog. If there is a stray dog and a dog is tethered, it has no form of escape. It's trapped. And so, you know, some pretty vicious dog attacks can happen that way. So I'd really appreciate if the city would consider those two issues to make our community safer. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jay Perryman. I'm a resident of Lowndes County, but I pay property tax in the city of Valdosta. Y'all are having such a good meeting here. I hate to put a damper on it, but on October the 3rd of 2025, I filed an ethics complaint against one of your city employees for not paying his fair property tax. According to your ethics code, you're supposed to have a hearing within 60 days. It's been 60 days plus another 100 plus, and we've had no hearing. We've sent emails, open record requests, all that's been ignored. My question is, are you going to have one? And if you're not, why do you have an ethics code to start with? Any comments?
None in this format. We'll approach you after the meeting.
I'm sorry?
Said we don't do that in this format. We'll approach you after the meeting. We'll come to you.
Approach me after the meeting?
Yeah.
Good deal. Thanks.
Thank you, Jay. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Hello, I'm Christina Cheek, 104 East Mary Street, Valdosta, Georgia. Today I wanted to come and address you all and say thank you again for recognizing, along with the county commissioners, the National Tourism Month. We here in Valdosta have a wonderful opportunity to bring more tourism revenue here. In 2024, $458 million of revenue was generated by tourism. And as the next state representative, hopefully if I get the seat, I want to have a joint effort with you all and the county commissioner and lobby for federal dollars at the state level funding to increase the possibility of a expanded conference center so that we can keep the revenue here, attract new businesses, heads and beds, and of course part of this is making sure that small businesses are included in this, and the other critical piece is making sure we develop South Side. And again, if we can have another look at the South Side revitalization plan, I think this will be a great step in the right direction. And so I just wanted to say that, and again, thank you for recognizing National Tourism Month. We are truly the city without limits, and I know that our potential is going to continue to grow. We have not reached full level, and I know that we can do it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Seeing none, I'll close out this portion of the evening, move on to the city manager's report.
No additional report tonight.
Thank you.
Any questions?
We'll now move on to council comments. I'll take a little bit of liberty to tell you what's going on tonight. I've probably missed the National Day of Prayer, It had been moved from the courthouse square over to the Methodist Church. I believe it's wrapping up. There's also a business after hours from our chamber tonight. There's also a Leadership Lounge reunion at the BSU Alumni House that's going to go on till about 9 o'clock. So anybody that says there's nothing to do in this town, that was 4 things, and I'm including our council meeting tonight as well. Council, any other comments? Ms. Dooley?
Well, I would like to, as always, thank our citizens for coming to the council meeting and having an interest. And I would like to also at this time recognize one person who constantly talks to me and asks about the council and what we're doing and so forth. They want to know. So could I ask Mr. DeMarcus Lewis to please stand? This young man works for Coastal Plain. He has forever got a question about city council and everything, and I'm trying to get him a little bit more interested, but he does. He comes over to the community center. He helps support us with doing a few things through Coastal Plain, and he constantly have a question about the city council. So he's here, you see it, get yourself ready to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Demond. Andy, good? Tim, Nick, Miss Cody. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. That was good.
I know the feeling well.